some strange things have been going on. They've engaged a outside organisation called Global Butterflies to come in and to help their staff understand these issues and deal with them sensitively. I'm delighted to be joined by Stephanie Davies-Arai, who's the founder of Transgender Trend, to talk about this. Stephanie, good morning. Thanks for being with us. So, this organisation, Global Butterflies, they've been saying to the staff that apparently there are now 150 ways to express gender that they need to think about as they look after their patients, the children in schools. Sorry, not in school, in the hospital.
This is another example of the obfuscation of language, isn't it? There are lots of ways to express yourself. There are billions of ways to express yourself. What they're talking about is gender identity, and that's the new religion that they preach. They're another group who are, like Stonewall, teaching gender identity, this concept that we all have an innate sense of being male or female, which is completely separate from our biology, completely separate from any kind of socialization we've experienced as girls or boys, and that's the criteria that makes us a man or a woman or a boy or a girl, and not our biological sex. So that's what they preach as fact. I mean, just as Stonewall do.
It does seem to be extraordinary. I would have thought most parents of children who are being treated in what is a great hospital at Great Ormond Street would want the staff actually to be focusing on treating and caring and not wasting time in meetings hearing about sort of what language to use, what words to use, suggestions that they should stop using words like guys and ladies. I mean, all of this is just a complete waste of time, effort and resources, isn't it?
We need to get gender ideology out of the NHS. Excuse me. The important point here is that Great Ormond Street is one of the hospitals where the new child and adolescent gender clinics will be held. And now that was, if viewers don't know, Dr. Hilary Cass did and is doing an independent review of the Tavistock clinic. She produced an interim report, and her final report's due to be out this year. Now, the problems that she specified in her interim report, one of them was that the focus on gender meant that other issues were being ignored. So underlying mental health issues, a lot of these children were coming from the care system, a huge percentage were autistic, and all of those issues were being ignored once gender was mentioned. Now, a group like Global Butterflies is completely undermining Hilary Cass's work by preaching this doctrine of gender as being the most important thing. And they actually say, they teach the genderbread person, which as a parent you may know is being taught in schools as fact, which teaches children that they have a gender identity, a sex, a sexual orientation and gender expression, and all of those things are on a spectrum.
And for those watching, Stephanie, this is on the screen now, the genderbread person. I mean, most people won't have a clue what on earth is talking about, so just help us a little bit more.
It's nonsense. It's pseudoscience. It's saying that everybody has to analyse every aspect of their personalities, their likes, their dislikes, the way they like to dress, etc., and decide on that basis whether they are male or female. The NHS should understand that you are born male or female, and that's just a fact about you. Children are being given the choice that they can be a boy or a girl, and it's their choice based on their feelings. That's a lie, and it's a very, very harmful lie, and we've seen the harm that it's caused to children who are now, the number of children who are confused and distressed about their gender has skyrocketed, which is why the waiting lists have become so long for the Tavistock. Now, the Tavistock is due to be shut down because it's been found to be unsafe for children. New clinics are being set up under a completely different model. Now, this ideology coming into one of the very hospitals that will run those new clinics is undermining that work.
I agree. And just on that, Stephanie, because the Tavistock was supposed to be shut by April, as I understand, that's now been extended. Is there any update as to when it will finally be shut? I was steaming mad. It was going to take 7 months to shut it, but it's going to take ever longer.
It's taken a lot longer. And of course, there is an enormous amount of work to do. And I think there's an enormous amount of work to undo from the kind of training clinicians have had by groups such as Global Butterflies, teaching them that gender identity is what makes you a boy or a girl and not your biological sex. So it's really alarming that one of these groups that has led to the harms and I think has created the gender distress that we're seeing in children is being brought into one of those hospitals to teach the staff. They even talk about puberty blockers being a fake issue. Now, the NHS have a public consultation out at the moment on that very issue, and the NHS has decided that puberty blockers will no longer be prescribed as a matter of course, but only as part of a clinical trial. So far fewer children. Now, you may disagree with that as well, but it's changed. It's looked at this issue very clearly. Now, what Global Butterflies will no doubt be saying is that puberty blockers are fine and children need them. And so all of their teaching is against the facts and the evidence and the research and the work that Hilary Cass has done.
Absolutely.
To find out what went wrong at the Tavistock.
I mean, Stephanie, and that picture are just, for those who are not watching, the genderbread person. Whether you're listening or watching, do just look at this. It's utterly shockingly extraordinary. At the bottom, there's a note that says, "Your body does not dictate your gender, you do." Sarah's just messaged in, there are only two genders. It's ridiculous. Stephanie, thank you so much indeed. We will keep talking about this. That is utterly extraordinary what's going on at the Great Ormond Street Hospital there. And we have got a statement from the hospital which says that the news service at the hospital will follow the interim service specification, has been published in June 23. As an inclusive employer, we have an active diversity and inclusion programme for our staff. We regularly invite external speakers to talk to our staff about a wide range of issues, and event attendant is always optional.